he was determined to make a good end.
That's right.
And he had made a point of identifying himself as standing for a certain kind of rationality, and that rationality in the face of death was, the logical conclusion of what he'd said he would, what he'd set himself up as. And so it was. I think everybody learnt about Hitch that how extraordinarily large his audience was at that point, and how extraordinary it was that there was this audience that was concerned about a part of the audience was saying, will he repent? And
yes,
of course,
yes.
Delightful for Christopher.
Oh no,
because,
he wouldn't. I would say, oh no, he wouldn't.
There were people praying for him, which was,
that's right. There were
the wrong thing to do.
We all took part in a linked-up TV program.
I think I actually talked to him about that. People praying for you as we talk.
Do you remember we were all in that linked-up program?
You were sitting by his
bedside.
bedside.
You were here, and then there was some event
in London.
Yeah. But it was being piped to cinemas, movie houses all across Britain.
All sold out.
From the hospital room?
Yeah. No, it was from a stage. It was, what's his name?
Fry.
Stephen Fry.
Talked to various friends.
There were people on stage in London, and we were all doing it on linked up London. Christopher was sitting with Ian in the hospital room.
Yeah, but what was so extraordinary was that people, there were camera moved across the audience. The audience was mostly young. They mostly would have disagreed with him violently on Iraq, but they were turning up in these cinemas to hear him, or to hear
Did he
people
talk about his own legacy and what he, at all, the sense of a life lived, a sense of, people talk about reading your own obituary.
He must have read quite a few rather premature obituaries. I mean, there was one in the New York Times a good 18 months, a year before.
There were a lot of people
they came
felt that they had to write that kind of piece.
I think James is right that he was determined to die well, and it's very hard to do. And how is it done? And who was it who said that it is very difficult for a sick man not to be a villain? And he was determined to buck that law.
Not to be a villain, or not to be weak?
Not to be. Not. I mean, I saw him so sick sometimes that I thought I would just be whimpering with self-pity. And he was determined not to do that.
Not to go there. Or not to go to regret, or not to go to change. I am who I am, and I am still who I am.
That, and just that there is no tougher challenge than to cope with death. As Freud called it, the complex symbol. It's something that, the reason we have religion is because of death, and how very difficult it is to come face to face with it. And religion says you needn't do that. We'll postpone all that. And so it was he was living up to his secularist
One
courage.
of the things he most disliked about religion was the idea that if we are told that we have a life after death, it makes us not value or pay attention to the life we have. Yeah. I mean, if as it were, our real life happens with our, in our heavenly self when we are immortal, then this life doesn't matter. So it diminishes the value of actual lived human life. And I think Christopher very much wanted to show that the value is here. It's here, not afterwards. It's here.
When was the last time you saw him?
I saw him exactly 1 year ago today. I was in Houston, Texas for his birthday.
I guess I saw him 2 or 3 weeks before he died. We were actually having a conversation about Larkin and a couple of lines in Whitsun Weddings, and I knew I was about to leave to go to the airport. And we came to the end of that discussion, and I went to kiss him, and he said, just go. He didn't want an emotional parting. Let's keep it that we will see each other soon, which was as devastating as anything. It's just sort of just go.
I saw him die, and it was. I arrived and it was sort of already all over, and he was unconscious. And, you know, you go and hug him and talk to him, but I like to think he might have sensed my presence. And then it became with the family, his children and wife and father-in-law and cousin, and we just sat there, and 5, 6 hours. And what happens is you look at him, and how laboured his breathing is. Then you look at the screen, the monitor screen, and you see the blood pressure changes every hour, because you can hear that clasp coming on, and dropping, and the oxygenation and the breath, the rate of breathing, until it just sank into nothing. And it was...
I think we were all sitting by the phone, you know. There was a moment in the middle of the night when the phone rang, and it wasn't necessary to pick up the phone, you know. And it was very sad.
James, write the first line of the obituary for us.
Well, to me, he was the spirit of '68. It was the revolutionary spirit that was so engaging, and the source, I suppose, of many ridiculous things that were said and felt, but many fine things too.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, James. Thank you, Ian. Thank you. Christopher Hitchens died age 62. He would have been 63 today. Someone that, love him or hate him, you could not ignore him, because he said things with such brilliance and insight and gift of language, never more powerful than when he was on stage, when there was an audience and a connection. A great program here, time after time, as we talked about many subjects. Thank you for joining us this evening. An appreciation of Christopher Hitchens. See you next time.
Anger I can't muster, really, because it's necessary that people die. It would be terrible if people did not. People have to die in large numbers every day so as to make room. I'm leaving the party a bit earlier than I'd like. Much earlier than I'd like. Or rather, it looks as if I might have to leave quite a little bit earlier than I'd like. And not only that, but the party will go on without me. Even more horrible thought. But why should I be enraged at that? That would be spiteful.